Welcome back, family. I got to tell you about my latest trip. That's right. I went to Charleston, South Carolina. I've been to Charleston before, but this time was a little bit different. Let me tell you about Charleston. Charleston's a city of probably about 300,000 people. Charleston is a pretty city. Crime isn't too bad in Charleston. It's lower than the average. But Charleston's expensive. Very, very, very expensive. I think it's expensive because people close to the water and people have just taken certain things and just elevated it and made it expensive. And I don't know why. Simple foods are expensive. Shrimp and grits, $35, $40. Shrimp and grits. I remember growing up in the South, certain parts of it, my grandma would make that for breakfast, and that was like a $5 meal. Grits is still cheap. You can go anywhere and buy grits. Shrimp is not that expensive. It's not expensive at all. And so that's one of the things that just gets to me. A lot of these cities that want to be foodie cities take simple things and just make it seem like it's expensive as hell. And the effort to cook this stuff, it's just a 5-minute cook process. Grits don't take very long, and shrimp, you cook them for a couple minutes. I mean, you can eat seafood, vegetables, and fruits straight naked. They ain't got to be cooked. No, they don't. They ain't got to be cooked at all. But Charleston is overrated. The price of houses are worse than the prices up here in D.C. area. I live in an area that's expensive for houses and stuff. And Charleston kind of got that beat by a lot. I think because Charleston has a lot of old money. Traffic is also getting clogged up in Charleston area too. A couple years ago, I went down there. You can zoom around the city on 526, no problem at all. Now Charleston's getting traffic like all big cities, and it's not a big city. And Charleston is definitely a city of have and have-nots. Everybody I've seen who was a minority of any type worked in the service industry. Everybody I've seen, whether it's a hotel, whether it's in a restaurant. No, they're not at the front of the restaurant. They're in the back of the restaurant. You can see them when they take breaks. They're in the back. They are not in the front. So I'm saying that because Charleston is not a diverse city. Now, when you're driving through, you may think it's diverse. Go on King Street. It's not diverse at all. You got a bunch of college students and you got a bunch of old white women who wear clothing that reminds you of plantation days. It's like it's never left Charleston. Yeah. But now you can go 10 miles outside of Charleston, like maybe North Charleston, which is about 5 miles, or you can go up to US 17, go north. You got some of the best food you're ever going to have for real prices. Charleston itself has just become a tourist trap. It's just a tourist trap. They want to give you the illusion that Charleston is this big new foodie city. It's not. It's not. But I'm saying that because Charleston is a very, very clean city. Some of these big old houses from the plantation days are very, very big, very nice. They're going to cost you a fortune to buy one. Matter of fact, almost any house in Charleston is going to cost you a fortune. So Charleston is definitely a city of have and have-nots. All the haves live in Charleston. None of the have-nots live in Charleston. Because everybody I was talking to all came from somewhere else to work in Charleston. Now, there are a lot of cities like that in America. There are a lot of cities where the people working there can't afford to live there. America got a lot of cities like that, especially out in the Bay Area and Seattle area. That's just the way American works. So Charleston is one of those yuppie cities. A lot of people you see, they either inherited money. Yeah. They inherited money. There's no new money in Charleston. I don't know what you can do to make new money. Charleston is not a place that I believe you can make it without money from somewhere else or somebody else. I don't think you can, they got College of Charleston, those kids look like they came from money. They're driving cars that 40-year-olds drive who make it on their own. They haven't made it on their own yet. but yet they're driving cars like they made it on their own. So saying that, Charleston is a good 2-day trip, so you can see all the stuff. But let me tell you one thing about Charleston that it don't resonate with everybody, but maybe you would do. You don't tell minorities one of your top tourist attraction is the old slavery quarters, the old where slaves, where slaves came in at. No, not everybody's into that. Maybe if you're from the Midwest and you're curious, go ahead. You're from the South, not so much. You're from the North, not so much. Because you had relatives and people that died trying to get rid of that. But one thing Charleston do have that a lot of people like, and I was kind of curious about it, but I didn't do it. I was going to do it, but I just ran out of time. That's ghost tours. Yeah, Charleston got ghost tours. Some people, the ghosts are still real. It's only been 250 years. The ghosts are still real, Charleston. But so when you're around people, you got to think about what it is that you're saying to them and where they come from. You can't have friends from all walks of life and think that some things you say is all right, like Charleston. Now, I bought some Gula stuff from the Gula people, and they're still there in Charleston, And one thing Charleston do have that I do like a lot, I like some of their museums, their art museums, where I could buy the art. I did enjoy that a lot because I wanted to finish my collection of Buffalo Soldiers, and Charleston had a place that's all they sold. Real pictures, which is kind of cool. Now, as far as sports teams, Charleston is a perfect city, a perfect size for minor league sports and college sports, because they don't have those huge stadiums like 100,000 people. No. They got about 15, 20,000 seat, football fields, basketball, arenas and stuff, about 4,000 people. Yeah, it's kind of cool because you feel like you're in the game. You ain't got to yell, put me in, coach. No, you're so close enough, you're in the game, no matter what sport it is. Now, Charleston is almost built on a swamp. It gets humid as hell. Yes, it does. Charleston is a very, very humid city. So, saying that, it gets hot. But Charleston also got like a rainy season. Well, some people call it rainy season. I call it hurricane season. It's a little bit different. Every time it rains, it feels like a hurricane is going to come. Yes. Now, saying that, Charleston is probably the second or the third biggest city in South Carolina. I think it's the second behind Columbia. But Charleston is unique and different from the rest of the state. And saying that because it's a port city. Lots of ships come and go, and it's a military city. Lots of large bases in that area. Or maybe they're all consolidated now, but you got a military presence, but you don't see them downtown Charleston, which is kind of odd at all. You don't see them downtown Charleston. So Charleston got a lot of young folks with money and stuff, and it's got people say a vibrant nightlife, but to me, it is not a vibrant nightlife if you only got 2 or 3 clubs that everybody goes to. That's not vibrant. That's how Memphis is today. In the old days, everybody goes to the same place. Everybody knows everybody. And so Charleston's a small city in that aspect. Everybody knows everybody. It could be family last name. I don't know. Seem like the same people run for office, and then their kids and grandkids run for the same office later on in life. Some cities are like that, but that's usually those small southern cities. You don't find that, in bigger cities or cities that really want to get in the map. Now, another thing about Charleston I like a lot. The airport is small and convenient as hell. You literally can walk from your plane to the rental car in like 2 minutes. No lie. I'm talking about they ain't even got to open the door. They open the door on the plane. You can just glide on down and go right to the rental car. And it's not difficult to get around. So Charleston is good in that aspect. I don't know how many major carriers go there outside of Delta and Southwest, but they got enough flights to get you in and get you out. So that much you ain't got to worry about. Unlike some cities that say we got an airport, and really they got a heliport. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. And that's what it is. Now, saying that, I like eating the food in South Carolina in general. Very, very fresh, very, very good. It's not Georgia fresh, but it's fresh. I like eating the food in South Carolina. I like Charleston, but I actually like North Charleston better. That seems where all the real people go to eat. Yeah, it's a little bit, downtown Charleston, you just getting ripped off. And South Carolina don't grow wine. They don't grow grapes. But Charleston somehow tells you some of the wine is locally produced. No, it's not. If it is, I don't want to try it. And the South, grapes ain't a big thing. Moonshine is. Yeah, they make whiskey, bourbon, and all that kind of mess. Now, if you're into that, oh well, you're into it. But saying that, Charleston is a great place. I think Charleston is a great place to stay for a night or two. But spend a couple of days. Spend a couple of days in Charleston and just see what it has that makes you happy. I didn't see a lot because I don't travel just to eat. Eating is part of my traveling. But I travel to see and do things. That's what I do. Now, I live to travel. I don't live to eat. Eat is just a side bonus to me. And you have people, all they want to do is eat. I'm not going to eat 5 times in one day. I never have. I never will. I'm the kind of person, I like 3 good meals. And breakfast to me should be simple and cheap. Because it don't cost a lot to cook eggs, pancakes, French toast, and some sausages or bacon or whatever. That's not an expensive meal. But there are people in Charleston who can make that a $25 meal. A lady told me, she said, well, orange juice is kind of expensive. I said, hell, I told her Florida is only about 3 hours away. And they got all kind of oranges you can get. 3 hours away. Orange juice, fresh orange juice is cheaper where I live at, where it's 12 to 15 hours away than it is for you guys literally to walk down I-95, pick a couple oranges out of Florida, steal them, and bring them back and squeeze them. Yeah, you just bring them back and squeeze them, and I can have some fresh orange juice. Now, I don't know what kind of supply chain you got, but you're getting ripped off. Yep, you're getting cheated. So, saying that, if you like plantation type houses and plantation type living, or curious about plantations type stuff, yeah, go to Florida. I mean, go to Charleston. Charleston has a lot of that. They have a lot of that in the surrounding areas too, surrounding counties. They have a lot of that. That stuff is not really my cup of tea. Not really my cup of tea. But, and I guess you could spend all day, every day going to those kind of places and enjoying yourself. It's not enough activities in Charleston for me. And I'm not the kind of person that my day is based on my night. No. My night is based on my day. I'm a busybody. I'm not a person that's going to get out of bed at, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock and say, okay, what's there to do now? No, I want to get up and do things. When the sun comes up, I want to be up. When the sun goes down, I want to be thinking about going down. Yeah. I mean, once I finish dinner and maybe go for a walk around the city, I'm ready to call it a night and see what's up for the next day. I like activities. And if you're a college kid, because Charleston got a lot of young people, which is good because young people keep cities vibrant. Old people don't. Old people put cities out to pasture. We all know that. Old people enjoy being old and they're happy that they're still alive. Let the young people do what they're going to do. Now, saying that, I said earlier, Charleston's a city of have and have-nots, and all the haves got it from somebody else because they're too young to have that much at that age, and we know they didn't earn it. And there's really no huge industry in Charleston outside of tourism. There's not a lot. You got the military bases, but military bases are great, but they're not generating that kind of money for the people who are driving those certain cars and living a certain lifestyle. And I still want to this day, I don't know where the people are getting money to buy these houses for $300 to $400. Actually, the average house in Charleston is around $550,000. I can't believe that. That's got to be one of the most expensive cities in the South. I'm not talking about the Miamis, because we know where that money comes from. New York, gangsters, whatever have you. But as far as Charleston goes, I don't know what is generating that type of money outside of someone parents gave it to them who got old school money. Old school money, you can't tell how they got that money. There's a lot of bad ways to get money. But, because Charleston was big in this slave industry. They were very, very big in that. Then it could be land. I don't know. Because a lot of old people in Charleston, they got their money through land acquisitions or selling land to the state, county. You got a lot of old people who are crooks. It just is what it is. But the younger ones, they're getting it from the parents or somebody, gifted them that money. Or maybe the parents still own the property or the car or whatever. I don't know. I could think of a lot of different situations. But as far as being pretty, oh yeah, Charleston's pretty. But there's not diversity. There's not a lot of diversity in the color of houses or buildings either. They love white. It's almost like everybody got a White House. It's like they're mimicking some slave day or plantation day or whatever it was. But, if you got a couple of days, go spend it in Charleston and spend your money on some of the expensive food because, I have a price point on anything I eat or buy. I have a price point. It's a difference between needing something and wanting something. And like I said, Charleston, you see a lot of people eating out at these restaurants and you're not totally full. Now, one thing I do like, and I had a lot in Charleston, I love the breakfast. I went to a few places and I'll put the name of it in the description. I went to a few places and I had a great breakfast every single morning. And the price point, $20. Okay. That's what it is today for breakfast. I remember the days when breakfast used to cost me $10. Now you're lucky to get an Egg McMuffin for $10. So I don't complain about it because, people wages go up, things cost more. It is what it is. You can't expect to have the things we had 20 years ago for the same price, but yet your wages went up. Nope. Fair is fair. So my whole thing is, if you want to deal with Charleston, it's a good city to deal with. It's worth it. It's worth the 2 days that you're going to be down there. It's definitely worth the 2 days. It's not worth 3 days. Now, if you want to go to the beach, add a third day. But I'm not. I never heard of Charleston being known for its beach, even though it's on the beach. I never know. I've never heard people craving to get there. Unlike the Florida beaches, the beaches in South Carolina, when people think about it's Myrtle Beach, not Charleston. Charleston's marshy, very, very marshy. Yeah, it's no white sands beaches. Now I'm sure they got somewhere around there because people will carve up an entire state to get to a beach. But my whole point is, if you want to go to a city that's pretty, yeah, when you fly in, it's pretty. When you're flying in is pretty as hell. And when you're driving through downtown, it's pretty. You see all kind of buildings. You see all kind of little parks. Yeah, it's very, very pretty. It's something fun to do. But that's my take on Charleston. It's not very diverse as far as culture goes. I didn't see a lot of different restaurants from all kind of different cultures. Nope, I seen normally Southern comfort food and local produced food, which is great because Charleston food is good. I just don't like the price for what I'm getting for the food I'm eating. So you don't see a lot of as far as people who are poor, you don't see a lot of them because they don't live in Charleston. They live around Charleston, but not in Charleston. Charleston keep it pretty clean for everybody. And if you want to go down there, tell them the Old School Traveler sent you. Now, I stayed at the Embassy Suites, downtown Charleston. I paid about $320 a night. I paid about $40 to park, which is, it was overrated for where I stayed at other places in Charleston, but not only that, other Embassy Suites. It's very, very overrated. I got nothing for that money. But at the same time, They claim they're gearing toward business people. What kind of business? I don't know. But it was definitely geared toward tourists. They got all kind of old romantic stuff to do, but it's geared toward tourists. But I don't need to get in a horse carriage for an hour to just look at houses unless I'm going to buy a house. And I was not going to buy a house in Charleston. So this is the old school traveler telling you, go check out Charleston. There's not a lot of crime. It's pretty much quiet. The traffic downtown it moves. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But it's just one of those cities that it's nice to visit. Old School Traveler out.